What's good, gang? That's on gang.
Bruh.
What? Jonathan's farm. Yeah, with his uneven gait. Who would have thought?
Fuck off. You did that.
Today we are here for another episode of our podcast, Generational Run, the podcast. And we're locked in, ready to go. So let's cook.
Yeah.
Let's cook. Sports. Who has a sports topic?
I got nothing.
What do you have to say for sports, babe?
Indiana Fever won the Commissioner's Cup or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Real. They're getting wild on all their live streams and shit.
Go
So,
for head drop.
let them cook. That was goated. What else is there? WNBA has 3 new cities that they announced.
Yeah.
Including one team coming to win.
Detroit.
Detroit.
It was
I'm sure
Detroit,
that team is going to be very normal.
And something else.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Detroit, Philadelphia, and Cleveland.
Welcome to Cleveland.
Which I was very surprised something like Houston didn't get one or Miami.
Yeah.
I would have definitely thought Houston. I would have thought they would have wanted to revive the Houston Comets, which won the first 4 championships.
Grab the staff.
I wonder if those teams are going to go with the old names like you had for Detroit and you had for Cleveland, because they used to have teams years ago. So it'll be interesting if they are considered brand new teams or like revivals of those old teams, and they get to have the old team's history.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't remember what those teams were called. Let's see.
Something.
I know Cleveland had something to do with like rock or something.
The Cleveland Boulders.
I think it was like Cleveland Rockers or something.
I think the Boulders would be better, funnier.
Let's see. Teams they had. Teams. Yes. Old teams. Future teams. No, I want to see.
Let's go to the trader. Shit.
Yeah, it was the Cleveland Rockers.
Do you have the question marker on your map?
Can I keep it that way? That's cool.
This is the old logo for Cleveland that they used to have.
Yeah.
So, did you see it?
He didn't.
It's this, bruh.
I was about to say, I didn't see bro look down once.
So
I
that's
did at the last second as he was moving his phone away.
real. And then Detroit.
The Detroit Wans.
They are the Detroit Shock. Look at that shit.
I'm shocked.
I like the colors, but like the Detroit Shock is such a shit name. That's fucking awful.
So the Detroit Shock technically still exists because they moved and became Dallas Wings.
Mr. Buyer stuff.
So they also won 3 championships. So it'd be interesting to see if they like how it works, because I know Dallas technically has 3 championships because they were Cleveland. So
yeah,
how that works, like a lot of the sports, they'll give the old team back their history and the newer one becomes the expansion team. So they could do that. And Dallas would be considered an expansion team instead of Cleveland. But
I'm sure it'll be interesting.
yeah, and I think the other thing that's weird though is that the teams are all joining separate years.
Isn't it like 2026, 2027, and 2028?
No, I think one was all 29. Because you still have other teams that haven't joined yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you have. So this year was Golden State.
Right. Yeah, they have the Valkyrie.
And then 2026 is going to be Portland's team, which they don't have a name yet.
Yeah.
And then you have Toronto, which is the Toronto Tempo.
Genius.
Okay.
Do they have a logo?
I don't think they do. Oh, they do. This is the
Oh.
Toronto Temple. This is an actual going to be used team logo.
Might have.
This shit's trash, bruh. Big dog.
I kind of like the logo.
Oh, shit.
It's an interesting logo. Kind of like it.
It looks like a default, like,
Something
pick
Rand
your
would-
team in a video game bullshit.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that, doesn't it?
That's some shit he would put on a thumbnail.
Emily said Wan would put this as a thumbnail.
It gives me the vibe that he would do that.
They're gonna play in the Coca-Cola Coliseum.
I'm in.
So you have that. So they're 2026. Cleveland's 28. Detroit's 29. Philadelphia's 2030.
Damn. Rand has to wait for his team until 2029. That sucks.
He had a team, and then he decided to move like a bum.
Mm.
Moving away from your team, bro.
Yeah, that's
Real.
really embarrassing of Wayne. That's kind of an L.
I don't know. Our team's kind of embarrassing, to be fair.
Listen,
That's why you just...
they were good for most of their history ever. This is the worst they've probably ever been. So
Yeah, kind of embarrassing, honestly.
I think the thing is that for Connecticut, tanking isn't the worst move. Because I think my dad said it one day when we were talking, is that all of the teams are like super young and they had all old players, even though they were good.
Yeah.
Because Connecticut's been consistently good for years, like they were consistently good, but not championship good.
Yeah.
So they were always like,
Your rap wants to leave.
they were the second or third best team.
Yeah.
And what that did was it always gave them shitty draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always picking 10th, 11th, every single year.
Yeah.
Nothing good.
So teams that were bad, like Indiana, was shit. For 2 years in a row, they got the number one pick. They got Leah Boston and then Caitlin Clark, number one, for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So if Connecticut can do that, get their own good players, they'll become better and maybe actually win the championship. There's a rat dog, so the rat
Oh.
orange will not leave.
He's still in here?
Yeah.
Look. I just had to show you this. Look how cute he is.
Oh well.
He funny guy.
Jax is funny.
Funny guy. Oh, I took this too.
Bingus is at the door sniffing. Real.
You never heard her be at the door like that and sniff for Jax.
No.
You did. Oh, you were home the one time. She started trying to go bust down our door. Like, you know how she does that when she's in her room. She was doing that on the other side of our door, trying to eat the cat.
Real. I agree. So, again, I think the thing, though, is that Connecticut's in a spot where they, by being consistently good, actually made themselves bad.
Yeah.
Because you can add all these players, but they were all in like their 30s, getting close to not being as good. Because you're not drafting these players that come out that are 22. You're signing these players that are 35. So your team's not built for success. So they may be bad this year and next year, but if they can continue to build and maybe just be bad for a few years, you know, get the first pick this year or get first pick next year or something.
Yeah.
They can then bring in talent. The other issue is since they don't have good facilities to practice at,
Yeah.
it makes it less attractive. And also, if you tell somebody you can sign and you can play in Uncasville,
Yeah.
or you can play in, you know,
Boston.
New York or LA, like where you can go do some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd rather be here, but we'll ignore that. I'd rather not be in a big city. but
Yeah.
a lot of people like that. So, especially when you have, I guess they don't have that much money because they're not making that much, but
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like when you have that, you can like go out and do stuff in the city, or you can go chill in Uncasville and go to.
A casino? A McDonald's?
I don't actually think I don't think they're allowed to go to the casino.
Mm.
I don't know if it works like for them like it does for employees, but if you work at the casino, you can't like gamble at the casino.
It's like
Yeah.
at Goodwill. If you work at Goodwill, you have to shop at a different one
Hmm.
because you're not allowed to work there.
I guess it's like any store you work at. Like you can't leave a product in the back room for you to buy. It has to go onto the floor. Like, I know a lot of that stuff is like that. Obviously, we don't have that like that much. Obviously, because everything we have is on the floor at Lowe's. But like when I worked at Target, like if you wanted to buy something, you couldn't be like, I'm gonna put it in the back room, because we had actually I have it the Pikachu pop that I have. It's like a special diamond design.
Yeah.
Everybody when those came went on break to buy it. So we all were allowed to, but we all went on break, and it was the same when they had the Xbox refrigerators.
Yeah.
When they pulled up, some people were like, "Ah, it's my break time." They went on break and bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I gotta take my obscurely timed break.
But yeah, I remember that like the Pikachu, I bought it, and that was one of the few that I was able to, or one of the things I was able to get because I worked there.
Yeah.
Because those sold out so quick. So
I'm sure.
it's that type of thing where most places have some sort of rule like that.
Yeah.
So I guess the closest that we have would be like, I know a lot of the stuff on discount you can't like put somewhere for the lower discount price to come out.
Yeah.
That's probably like the closest comparison we have. Because some people do that. They'll be like, I want to buy this, but it's $40, but it's a special order. I'm going to put it over here and it will go down to $25 in a few days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the thing. I don't even think the players probably could go to the casino unless it technically would be different, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because they're not really employees of the casino, but they are at the same time. Anything else we have for sports this week?
Daniel Suarez is leaving
Yes.
Trackhouse next year.
Mm-hmm.
Not on bad terms, though. Did you see Bro said, like, it's just, like, a start of a new chapter? He's not sad about it.
Yeah, because he has a fuck ton of money. He can go race for another team.
No, I know. But, like, you think if you race with a team for a long time, you'd be sad to leave. That's what I was implying.
Mm. Well, lots of times people aren't going to say that, though, publicly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know that.
I'm sure he is. It depends on how it worked. If it was just like, if they just straight up said, sit down, let's have a meeting, you ain't the one, you're gone, I'm sure it's different. But if they're like, because you never know, it could be one of those things where they could like help him get a better spot too.
Yeah.
Because it depends on how they approach it, right? Because it could be one of those things where they're like, we'll get you into a spot. Maybe he's already got a spot that's not announced. Because I don't think he would just be like, I'm super thrilled for the future if it was like he didn't know something, right? So I think there's that.
The amount of Zillich Suarez memes now.
Nah, never mind. You're still setting up on me.
I don't know.
No, like, because he'll take his spot.
Watch him not. It's like Alex Bowman.
Don't tell me that. I don't care about that guy.
Real.
Carson Hocevar.
Actually, I guess while we're on the topic of sports, do we think Max Verstappen's going to get traded?
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that. To Mercedes.
Do we think they're actually going to go through with it?
If he switches teams, I'm never watching F1 again.
I feel like honestly, it's a dumb move from Red Bull to do that.
The thing is, it's such a complicated situation because What?
Are they just looking into it, or do they like...
There's clauses in your contract based on performances. And the rumor is that the clause in his contract is if he's fourth or below in the standings at a certain point in the season. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's like the summer break. So like
Yeah.
next month, he could then get out of his contract. Because I think his contract goes until like 2028 or something.
So, like, would he lose the contract?
No, it's probably a rule within the contract that he could leave or break it if he wanted to.
So he doesn't have to, though?
No, he doesn't have to leave Red Bull. But if he says, yeah, I don't think you guys are going to do good, then you never know. But the thing that's very complicated about it is that there's so many pieces to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Red Bull has a leadership power struggle.
Yeah.
Within the F1 team. Essentially, that happened once the owner of Red Bull, when he died a few years ago, it set things in a different path. Because when he died, first of all, he was very passionate about racing, didn't give a fuck how much it costs.
Yeah.
Where, like, the people that own Red Bull now are a little bit more hesitant to be, like, owning two F1 teams because they do. So, you have that.
Yeah.
You have just the issues between the people that wanted to be in charge, because one of them was friends with the dude who owned it, and one of them was just been in charge of Red Bull since the team started, and they kind of have some beef with each other.
Yeah.
Because they both technically have some power and control over who gets to be in what seat in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Considering that the one dude gets to kind of pick everybody that's going to be in Red Bull. So you have that, right? So who wins between those two? I mean, that's another situation, because Christian Horner, who's the team principal, who's been in charge forever since Red Bull started, he also has some sexual harassment cases, which I don't know if they're still ongoing or if it's completely over. I know that they said, like, he didn't do it or whatever before, but I don't know if it's still kind of going. Yeah. And then the other dude being Helmut Marko, he wants to be in charge of the team again because he was friends with the dude who made Red Bull. So I think you have those two issues, and that's a big thing of who's going to be in charge, because they're not dominating, just like force, like leading like they were before, because the issues didn't show until 2024. It took like a year, almost a year and a half, for the issues really to pop up and be like, okay, they both want control.
Yeah.
So you have that. At the same time, you have the engines of the cars that are being built for next year. 2026 F1 has all new engines. Red Bull themselves is taking on building their own racing engine, which Red Bull has never done.
Sounds pretty badass, though.
Because Red Bull isn't a car manufacturer, they make energy drinks. It's not like the other ones where Mercedes is a car manufacturer and has the capabilities.
But don't they have Honda?
No. So, Honda, which makes their engines, is leaving to go to Aston Martin. So they don't have that. So they have Ford coming in to kind of support them, but Ford's not really doing the whole engine.
Okay, yeah.
Ford's doing like some of the electrical, like hybrid components more than like all of it.
Okay.
So you have that, and some of the things in the Red Bull engine isn't going to be as strong as the Mercedes engine.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, Mercedes' driver lineup isn't one they're going to want to switch. Because they have George Russell, who they spent years funding his development and years keeping him at Williams to keep racing in F1 before he moved to Mercedes. So,
Yeah.
you have both of them. Or you have George Russell, right? Winning races, absolute dick. Guy's a bum. But he's solid at racing. He's got the worst personality, but he's good at racing. Then they also have Kimi Antonelli, who's a rookie, but already killing it. He already got a podium.
Yeah, wasn't it like third?
Yeah. He got a podium. I think he's the third youngest person ever get a podium. Or like the youngest, first or second.
I think he's the youngest.
Is he youngest?
I think so.
Did he pass Max?
I think so.
Or he's close to passing Max if he didn't. He's top 3 though. I know that.
Okay.
Youngest F1 podium finisher. Max Verstappen's still youngest.
Oh.
No, Kimi Antonelli is the third youngest. That's what I thought.
Mm.
He's youngest behind Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll.
Mm.
It's all close because they were all 18.
Yeah.
But it goes by days old based on that after, and he's just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they were all 18. Kimi Antonelli was 18 years, 294 days old when he got his podium.
I like when they have like all of that, like the years, months, days, minutes, how old you are.
Yeah. So he had 294 days. Max Verstappen was 228 days. Also, Max Verstappen's is also more impressive because his first podium was also his first F1 win.
Mm.
So he also became the youngest race winner at the same time.
Yeah.
But Kimi Antonelli already has a podium. He's probably going to score the most points as a rookie, which is one of those things that he does have an advantage of being in a good car with the highest point total you could ever get. But still, being a rookie doing that well is impressive. And he's like Toto Wolff, who's team principal in Mercedes and owns 33% of the team.
Yeah.
That's like his dude that he like picked to race and like helped with his development. So I don't know who Mercedes gets rid of.
Yeah.
Because you have George Russell and you have Kimi Antonelli, who are both really good. So to answer the question, because you have to have all that context, does Max leave?
I think he leaves and goes to NASCAR.
I think, if anything, I think you're right. I think if he leaves, he's going to race something else. Because the other thing that people ignore with Red Bull is the amount of things he has outside of like racing that is Red Bull sponsored. Like he has his own endurance car racing team, which is sponsored by Red Bull, and his own esports racing team, which is sponsored by Red Bull. So he has more of a connection to Red Bull than just I drive a Red Bull car.
Yeah.
Like his business interests are linked into Red Bull sponsorship.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if Red Bull sponsorship is one you want to give up, first of all.
No, I wouldn't personally, but
I mean, I guess it's Max he can come back to. I know Sebastian Vettel, who was basically Max before Max, where he won 4 championships in a row for Red Bull.
yeah.
And then the team struggled, and then he went to Ferrari and never raced as well.
Who did?
Sebastian Vettel. He won the championships for Red Bull, won them a lot of their races before Max got there, won 4 championships in a row. Red Bull had one bad year, and he said, I'm out, and went to Ferrari. And I personally don't think he leaves.
I don't think he leaves.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if he left. I think that the way that he gets treated at Red Bull, the way he gets treated like he's part of Red Bull as a family, and the way that you see all their athletes interact in general,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think he leaves, and I think it's one of those things that he can, if anything, by talking to Mercedes,
Mm-hmm.
maybe get the Red Bull leadership to be like, all right, let's not fuck around.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you could lose him, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Because he's always been linked to Mercedes forever. I mean, Mercedes tried to get him before he came up, but they couldn't guarantee him a F1 spot. Because Max pretty much just jumped into racing and went to F1. Like, he raced go-karts for like a few years, went to open wheel racing,
Let's go.
and he basically just went right to F1. Like, he jumped up like
Let's go.
from racing a car to racing an F1 about a year.
Yeah.
Real.
Like, they changed the rules because of him.
Mm-hmm.
But Mercedes couldn't guarantee him a spot. Red Bull could.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I just don't know. And I think the things that Mercedes leadership and what Toto Wolff specifically said about Max during the championship in 2021, when it was him against Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes against Red Bull for constructors, I think that those are things you still think about.
Yeah.
How he acted and what he said about you compared to his driver. Obviously, again, he's doing what he has to do to support Lewis Hamilton, because that's what he had to do at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think this is partially where you're like, I'm good. I wouldn't want to go personally work for someone who's like was publicly talking shit about you.
Yeah.
For a year. Like, I'm good. I don't really want to work for someone who talks shit to me behind closed doors for 10 minutes. So, like,
Yeah.
never mind publicly for a year.
Yeah.
You say some shit to me closed doors for 5 minutes, and I'm like, you can fuck off.
Yeah, literally.
Which, like, I'm good. Having experienced that firsthand, I'm good. And if someone said some shit publicly about me, nah, I'm good. Nah, I think that was too toxic. I don't think he was a Mercedes.
Sorry.
And I hope he doesn't. But it feels like a weird move now.
Yeah.
Had it been last year when Lewis Hamilton left, that'd be a little different. But I don't think you get rid of anybody. I don't think there's a way to move. If he's going to go to any team, I'd say Aston Martin. Because Aston Martin is developing their car. They have Adrian Newey, who's the greatest designer ever. They have Honda, which Max has a relationship with.
Yeah.
And I don't think it damages his relationship that he could have with Red Bull and the Red Bull brand if he wanted to go back to being with them in the future.
Yeah.
Because Mercedes and Red Bull are rivals and they don't like each other. Aston Martin's just chilling over here, doing their own shit. And
Aston Martin things.
doing their own shit, struggling for 7th in the standings.
Yeah.
Like, once Adrian Newey gets to design the car, like 2026, they're going to cook. So if he's going to go to any team, I think it would be Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Over Mercedes. So that's my thought, but you never.
Yeah, they're trying to dump down right now. You know.
You never know.
A lot of
But no, again, I think if you can get something where stay at Red Bull so you have that sponsorship, or if you can not damage the relationship by going to a team that's like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I think going to the team that's been the biggest rival to Red Bull, and the only other team that's, like, done shit until McLaren did last year.
Yeah.
Like, before McLaren last year, Red Bull and Mercedes were the only team to win Constructors' Championship
Yeah.
since 2010. And a lot of the people that, because Mercedes was the Brawn team, so basically since 2009,
Yeah.
it's been those two teams. And driver-wise, it has been Mercedes or Red Bull drivers since 2010. And those teams every year from 2010 to 2023. So, like, going to Mercedes just doesn't seem like the move. It's like when dudes are on, like, one football team that's, like, big rivals. It's like if you were on the Giants and I'm going to go to the Cowboys now.
Yeah.
It'd be like, whoa, what are you doing? Or, like, when a player goes from, like, one way or another goes from, like, Jets to Patriots or Patriots to Jets. It's like, bruh, whoa, what are you doing? That's the thing. It's not like you're going from the Colts to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, it is that type of thing where you're going from, like, rival teams. What are you doing? So I don't see it. I know people want it to happen, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't want to give it being part of Red Bull. They're kind of goated.
I agree.
I agree.
I like Red Bull.
So, I know you're hyped. You got 2 Red Bull cars to watch on Saturday race. Moving on from our sports topics to anybody got a political take this week?
The big beautiful bill was passed.
Real. Oh, that reminds me.
Oh god.
I was talking to Big Dog today at work.
You usually do that, yeah?
Uh-huh. We had a great discussion. Great idea.
Did you?
Uh-huh. It's the best idea
bet.
I've had. Nobody's had better.
Oh, I bet.
Wen and I have a political debate on a podcast episode. And then you and Jonathan get to ask us the political questions. And then you get to vote for who you'd pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Wen can obviously argue his far left views on we should all get free seeds from the government or some bullshit. And then you can have me who's like, no, you should have to go, like, get a job. Like,
For real.
that's pretty much all, like, the right is just, like, go get a job, and the left is like, please give me free gifts. Please make them magically appear, even though I don't understand how it works. So,
For real.
that's the thing. I think it's a good idea. What do you think?
I think it's not.
Why?
Because I don't have that big of an interest in political things, for one. 2, the only thing I'm going to ask Wan is if he did 9/11. And 3, I'm going to end up voting for you because I don't care about Wan.
Alright, cool. Let's do it.
I think oopsie.
I'm in. I'll message Wen right now.
Can we do it on a day it's not going to be late at night?
Right now.
Yeah, right now. Wen's joining the call,
No.
actually.
I'm good.
I already have it set up. Alright, and joining us now, all the way from Detroit, calling in live, it's Adolf Wandler. Ready to tell you why the government should own a grocery store.
I came up with a really good nickname today.
For when?
No.
For who?
No one, and just I'll tell you after. Cannot tell you now.
Real. Alright. I don't have anything else politically besides Wen's a bum.
Fuck Wan.
Let's get into this week's videos. First of all, comments. We have some comments. Now, as the resident person who is involved in being part Eastern European in your life ancestry, You have portions of those countries. What language is this?
That looks like Russian or something. Why does bro look like that? Oh, bro plays Rust. That's why.
Is bro Russian or Ukrainian?
I think he's Russian.
I can't tell the difference in the languages, bro.
That's because they're only slight different.
Yeah.
There's not really much difference between Russian and Ukrainian language.
Considering the Russians just botted the Ukrainians multiple times for the last, 500 years. But,
Yeah. Because they think everything's better.
So, first of all, we got 2 comments on Wan's electric scooter video. Including number 1 is, I like your review, you went in depth, and it was a good video. Thanks, man. Then we have this dude who commented in Russian. Commented in Russian on our raft video that said, nice one, brother, keep going.
That dude plays Rust. So bro's probably like...
A Russian that plays Rust? Nah, can't be real.
Yeah, that's what
Next we have the most insane crash ever from my new NASCAR Heat 5 series. Winless tracks, where I go and try to win on all the tracks I have not won in the Cup Series yet. This dude commented, your fault.
For what?
When I crashed.
Oh.
Which it was my fault, because I moved over and there was a car there. But then the AI in that game were fantastic. And bro just decided to keep driving straight through me after I slightly bumped him. So, it was my fault. And then on another one of Wen's scooter reviews, someone said, there are shocks on the back.
So Wen did something wrong.
Wen, of course, did something wrong in the video. Who would have thought? Oh, the fuck.
What? Are you good?
It's a thin little piece of my screen protector glass.
That's good.
Alright. Videos this week. First, we recorded GTA. Not much took place in that video. That's worth talking about.
No, not really.
Not really, no.
Nothing happened.
Delusion, maybe, but,
Yeah, really nothing, though.
Nothing major.
Okay.
First, in GTA, we saw Big Dog get another win, leading all those laps, really.
Did we?
We did.
Might have to check the settings.
We watched Jonathan get another W by cooking.
Did I?
Bruh. Yes, you won.
Did I?
Oh my god.
This is when you just move on.
But he won and led a bunch of the laps. That was really the big factor for you.
It really was, yeah.
Are you selling my crops, bruh?
No, bruh.
You just sold my...
There. It wasn't even from before.
Bruh.
I didn't even pick them all up. I was just trying to water them.
Selling my crops for your profit.
I promise you.
Do you see how many you have, bro?
Yeah, you see how much money I have, bro?
No, I don't. I don't.
Like
much
$400, bro.
Ooh.
I don't go fishing all the time, bro.
Going fishing.
I just grow my crops, bro.
Okay.
You send me money then? Send me $500.
Okay.
In the video, I got second place. Emily finished third, and Wen finished fourth with no points.
I didn't finish last this time.
You didn't. Now, we went to one track, which Wen recently designed called Wreckfest.
Mm-hmm.
Which there will be a video on the channel in a few weeks of how we built that track.
Forgot he does that.
So, this track, I get the concept because he was trying to make it like the video game Wreckfest. The track layout itself wasn't the issue.
I think it was. I think it was too small.
I think those stupid bumps were a problem for driving hot rings on.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you see my car? I hit the first bump. I went over, went to go on the second bump, hit the beginning of it, and just started flipping because that car can't make it over.
At least your car went over a jump. The hot rings just kind of like scraped over it.
Yeah.
They were awful.
The hot rings just kind of got by, really.
Yeah.
Granted, I will say the race went a lot smoother after he did say that we didn't have to take the jumps.
Yes.
I don't know how you didn't.
Literally drive next to the ramp.
That's what I thought, but I didn't know if he made like.
Nah, you literally drive next to the ramp and you're good.
Yeah, because that's what I did. Because I was I couldn't make it, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, essentially, he also had very shitty car choices.
Yeah.
Which that led to us driving hot rings and Emily driving a pink unmodified armored Kuruma. Which set her to guaranteeably get last.
Mm-hmm.
I made the executive decision as Supreme Leader of Epiccw, which the shirt will be available soon on epiccw.net. You can get a Supreme Leader with my picture on it. Now, as the Supreme Leader of the brand, with my unquestioned power and control, I get reactions from both of you. That's fine. Are we not believing that? Like,
we believe delusion around here.
bruh, it's not delusional, it's facts. No, but I made the decision to ban Wen. Banning Wen comes later. The decision that I made was basically to take and switch the position of Wen and Emily in the points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this drastic change cost Wen 6 points.
Yeah.
Because he finished third, which would give you 7 points. Emily got a DNF, which would get you 1 point.
Yeah.
So, the total change was 6 points. Fast forward to the end of the video. Actually, fast forward a little bit later, and there's a reset called by Emily when Wen crashes into her. Jonathan already crosses the line. I'm not involved in the incident, so I just drive through. Wen starts tweaking that I didn't wait for the reset. Absolutely loses his mind. And we move on, because I'm kind of just like, well, I'm just going to do what I want. I don't really care. Like, it's dumb to have to wait for a reset that I wasn't involved in when the reset was called, when somebody would cross the line. The race was kind of just over at that point. I mean, Jonathan couldn't reset.
I literally had no chance.
Like, I think you literally drove through the checkpoint when Emily said that's reset.
It was literally like the second I crossed the line is when Emily called it. I could not have stopped even if I wanted to.
So, that was you out of it, and there's really nothing you can do. So, we're going to just have, like, kind of choosing the finishing order based on who's where at the point of that. Like, if you're... Essentially, if you're not involved in the incident, you get to just get the next open position. So in that, I would have got second.
Yeah.
Emily, who was the person that got crashed, would then get third. When, for causing the incident, would get fourth, and that's how the race would just finish. So,
Okay.
we're going to try that next time out. Essentially, just doing that. Because there's really no other way. Like, obviously, when we just had two people, when it was Wen and I, or you and I, like, it was something we could do. But with adding Wen back in, adding Emily to the series, like, the resets changed, and those scenarios that we never had could come up.
Yeah.
So, there's that. So I think that's going to be a good change. But what this did was it led to Wen having a full meltdown at the very end of the episode. At one point, he said about getting a penalty. I don't even know how that got brought up. I didn't say anything about him getting another penalty. I don't think either one of you mentioned anything about him getting another penalty.
No.
He kind of just randomly brought up getting a trillion point penalty. And then lost his mind.
I told him there goes all his points at the race that he left or didn't wait up.
Yeah. So essentially, in the last race, a reset was called. I believe it was between... Was it you and I crashing?
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We both crashed. And Wen opts to not wait for the reset. Now, the difference is, from mine, we tried to make it seem like it was the same as that case. The difference is that I didn't wait after the race had already been completed and we didn't have a rule for it. He just decided to ignore it.
Well, he kept going because I said no to the reset. Went a little bit further and then called the wait up as like a joke at the end of the race thing. And then he was like, "Yeah, not happening," and we just finished.
Yeah, which the first time the reset was called, when did I call it? Or you call it? I did.
One of us.
Either way, one of us called the reset. That's when he should have stopped. No other issue happens. He then proceeds to lose his mind, and I'm like, well, that's a penalty then.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just crashes out.
He claims he didn't.
He claims he did not crash out. Now, what I did was I took away the points that he earned from the episode. Because he'd already got a previous penalty. Normally, in that situation, your results are voided, everybody moves up a spot. I just gave him a bigger penalty because he already got a penalty once. It's the end of the episode, everybody wanted to be done.
Yeah.
And that's where the episode went. Now, I know you edited it out of the video, but Wen then proceeds to lose his mind more and try to argue with me about, I don't even know, something about losing more points. He used to take away all my points for the season or some shit.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Which,
at that point, he says that, if you think about it, though, logically, being taken out of the season, just don't show up. At that point, you're just not in it.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can win the episodes, which is really the main point.
Yeah.
Having the season championships just helps some of us not lose our mind and want to leave halfway through when we have one bad race.
Feel a little bit targeted with that one.
I wonder why I added in the season-long championship.
I feel slightly targeted with that.
So he's not out of the season championship. He doesn't have the points in the last episode, so he is on 510 points.
Mm-hmm.
So he's only 2 points ahead of somebody who raced every episode until the most recent one with a not fully upgraded car. And all the progress that he made last episode by racing really well against Jonathan and getting a bunch of wins has now been voided. But, yeah, so he proceeds to get super super heated at me. And there's that. Yeah. So
Look at silly little guy. Oh, I notice it now. I notice it.
real. So he gave the reason to us later about just issues that he's having since he's kind of moved and stuff like that. So, which is understandable if you move away from like your friends and family to somewhere, you can't just come back and be like, all right, I'm gonna come visit like tomorrow. Let's hang out. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that's affected him, and it kind of just came out in that video. And then we had other things that were off camera that don't really need to be fully addressed, but we did have other issues that led to general tension in the group for a little bit. But I feel like we're good after last week, and I feel like we'll be good. Honestly, once we get a break in 2 weeks, we'll be good. So there is that. Next up, we played Stardew Valley. How'd everybody feel that went?
Goated as always.
I'm locked in.
Stardew Valley was heat. Now, I do want to say real quick, actually back to GTA, to ask you one question. Your cars, how did it feel to have fully modified cars finally?
Better. I felt like in the beginning races that I still didn't have the best luck.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just still behind. Because I've never had a fully modified car like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end it was better. I did better.
Yeah. No, I think you had to get used to the car, and that's something we kind of talked about basically from the beginning. I know you and I have discussed it. Jonathan, I know like you and I have talked about it before too, like her getting a proper car, like it would take a little bit of time to get used to.
Yeah.
Just
That, and I've also really never had my own car that fast to drive.
I mean, when I play, I know obviously you played PC and before, like story mode and stuff, but online on your account now, your fastest car is a Feltzer before you had a Krieger. So
I like my filter.
So there is definitely a big increase in car performance. Back to Stardew Valley. I don't really think there was anything super noteworthy. I think we just played Stardew Valley and had
I was
a good
locked
time.
in. Same.
Real. I know Wan struggles a little bit still. Stardew Valley, getting used to it. I got glitched into a hill.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I got glitched into the hill and had to wait for 2 a.m. when the game would say you've been out too late.
Yeah.
So that was just ridiculous. But so yeah. Overall fun though. The next day we recorded Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo was fun.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also played Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Fortnite was about as Fortnite as I expected.
We got what, 4th?
I don't know.
Somewhere
I
around
think
there.
so. Hey, back to Gran Turismo. I did win a race in that, so
You did.
I won one.
I fucked up a lot in that track. I do not like that track in the slightest. The Corvette did not do well.
Jonathan crashed out because he couldn't find the braking zone in the last turn. Emily tweaked because Jonathan crashed out because she's actually last. And then Wan didn't do anything the whole time and thought he did. And
That's
you
about it.
you guys had a good race in the last race. Why don't we talk about that?
That bro didn't get out of my fucking way.
That's the whole point of racing.
Bro, I was driving delusionally to fuck your race, bro. And it didn't work.
I'm probably the most delusional driver in this, so you can't out delusion the autism. We have the same spectrum, alright?
Yeah, but she's a woman driving.
Yeah?
Bruh.
More delusion. Bruh, you think of it. Autistic woman driver. Like, pick a disability. At least, like...
I have, like, both.
Exactly. Jonathan just has autism. You have autism and being a woman. So, like... You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I could stay in front of her. She's a woman. She may be autistic, but she can't drive. The autism mixed with woman just makes her an average driver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I don't know what Wen's disabilities are. There's too many to count.
Weed.
Black.
Yeah.
Smoking during recording.
Yeah, smoking during...
Washing his bong every single 2 minutes.
We made the joke about it, so we didn't do it this week.
He didn't do it this week, but he did last week.
He was washing something before we started.
Was he? I wasn't there.
I don't know why, but every time I join a party, it takes like 2 minutes for his fucking voice to register.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only him. Still only him.
Because you can look at the party and it just has the circle over his icon.
Yep. He's the only one that happens
It's
to.
because of his internet, bruh.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Detroit ain't Detroiting on that one.
Hell no.
Alright, that's the end of our segment. We will have in a few weeks, obviously only beginning July, but in a few weeks when we go to August, we're gonna have some exciting changes again. I know we had some changes just to start, but we have some more new ones with the fact that we're going to stop Gran Turismo. Basically, we're going to stop Jonathan's dominance because we're going to get rid of Gran Turismo and the Wreckfest series. The Wreckfest series didn't really work out based on the format that we picked and all that, with Wen not really being suitable as a teammate.
That worries me.
It's just one of those things that, like, Jonathan struggled to do well with Wen as a teammate, and he scores way more points than Emily and I, so there's no way that we're going to really compete.
Ending that episode with almost 100 points more than both of you and still losing that episode is just fucking insane.
Yeah. So, like, if you put the best driver at Wreckfest with the fourth best driver and they can't win, what are you going to do when you put the second best or third best together? Like, we see what happens with Emily. Tried to win with Wan the first time. She killed it. Scored more points than I did. But still just got bodied because Wan got like 10.
For what?
When I get
The first week of Wreckfest.
almost every race and still lost, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, because you didn't really have a bad result. I think you had like one where I bodied you, but...
I think I had 1 or 2 races that I just got cooked, but...
Yeah, because even then you like recovered because you had like the triangle one where I literally made you flip. And you still finished.
Still somehow recovered and like won that race, I'm pretty sure.
I think you finished... No, I think I won it. I think you got second.
Yeah, you might be right.
You got second, or you might even got third to Emily. But either way, you were right there. Like... Because then Wan threw that race as he did the best to start it of all of us. And then still ended up worst of all of us.
Dude, what pissed me off the most was like at the start of the race in the first couple laps, he was right up there, and then he'd just be fucking gone, and just DNF. It's like, dude, just please stay in the race, man.
Because he doesn't.
Just win.
I think it's because he thinks that if you DNF in the spot you're in, he's gonna keep those points.
Mm.
I think that is probably a case, but yeah, no.
But I know he does that shit too when it comes to, like, the finish. That's why I said, nah, you have to leave. Because he would do that shit where he wouldn't leave.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's going to be going away. Versus Challenge, we're going to have to go away just because that didn't really work out the way we recorded and all that stuff. So at least in September, and essentially until NASCAR 25, or whenever that is, whether it's early September, late September, October, whatever it is, until then we're essentially going to have GTA, Stardew Valley, a new series which hasn't been announced yet, and our random game. That's kind of just going to be every week. Keep it simple, no rotations. And then when we get to NASCAR coming out, we'll see how our new series goes. And we'll make changes from there. So that's what we're going to have for that. Now for our closing segments. Do you have a fact for this week?
I do. That's a good one. I put a lot of work into it. My fact is that women in Allied countries wore red lipstick because Hitler hated it. That's my fact.
Real.
That's funny. That's funny as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the always ready to share his fact.
He's gonna...
His song. It's Big Dog.
You heard the food, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Firework by Katy Perry.
Goated.
For the good old 4th of July pick, I think, is a good idea.
Real. Alright, what do you have, babe?
Girlfriend's got a boyfriend called Goodwin.
Real. I'm gonna go also on the American vibe. As Jonathan did. We're going with God Bless the USA, of course. Gotta go with that.
That's what I was gonna go with.
It's a banger.
Oh yeah.
Had to pick as 4th of July. Fuck yeah. Well, this will go out on the 5th of July, but also 4th of July weekend. Let them cook. Let them cook.
Can I change my song then?
No.
If that timer ran out, but I just died there immediately.
All right. Big Dog, what you got for your Pokemon this week?
My Pokemon this week is going to be Sylveon.
Bro's pulling up Sylveon again. That's crazy.
Oh, did I already pick Sylveon before?
You picked it a few weeks ago. It's fine. You can pick it again.
No.
You already picked it.
Nah, bro.
No, you
I
already
ain't
picked
double
it.
picking like that. I ain't double dipping Pokemon.
Bruh. Bro's picked Froakie like 3 times. What do you mean? Bro picked Ariana Grande from Music for goddamn 11 weeks in a row. Nah, you're done. All right. What do you got, babe?
Chikorita?
Well, the thing is, I won't figure out it. I got out of it.
Show your Chikorita off. Look at Bro.
I made it. Dude, that's fucking goated, bro.
Look at Bro's the leaf.
It's goated as shit, bro. That leaf could 100% be a fucking weapon.
I mean, it's pretty, like... It's pretty fabricy.
You could still turn that into a weapon, are you kidding me?
Because you get it spinning fast enough. My Pokemon this week is going to be my boy Chimchar.
Okay,
Look at Bro chillin'.
Goated?
Look at Bro chillin'.
Oh.
Big dog. All right, Fortnite skin for the week. Bodie. Prefer.
Give me 10 blocks.
Goated. All right. What do you got, babe?
Ronald McDonald.
Goated. Goated. I'm going to pull up this week with Bodie. Give me Bodie. Like Bodie's cooking. So.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for today's podcast. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.